Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Steven Corporate Services. So, tonight we're going to be looking at company registration with an emphasis on fintech registration. If you are here tonight joining us and you've not videos on company registration, I would suggest that for the theoretical knowledge, you should visit that video because a lot of things were said in that previous video about some requirements and also some types. We explained it in theory, but tonight we're going to be showing you practical knowledge precisely, and we'll start our classes now. So we're going to the dashboard now, and that is the CAC dashboard, where we'll begin to show you everything on the CAC website concerning the company registration. As we already know, when we want to register a company, when we want to register anything, you come to pre-incorporation. Then from the pre-incorporation, you come to the name reservation. And when you come to name reservation, what you need to do here is to click on new name reservation. After reserving a name, the name will be approved. So once the name is approved, you are going to come to registrations, and then you would see the works you can do. So we're going to be doing our trial with one of the company that we have ongoing. So from everything that I will be teaching you tonight, I will be showing you how to register a company on CAC, and at the same time I'll be showing you how to register a fintech. Recall in our previous class we talked about the fintechs, and we said that the fintech is basically a company rendering financial services with innovative technologies. So it means that a fintech basically is rendering financial services, and it's also a company. So if you want to run a fintech, you must register with CAC. And in registering with a CAC, it has to be a company, a private company limited by shares, or it can be a public company as the case may be. Now, having said this, once you're registering a company and the name has been approved, the first thing you're going to see here is the company details. As you can see from this site here, we have the company details, we have the article of association, we have the objects of the memorandum, we have the directors and secretary, we have the share capital, and we have the person of significant control, and we have the statement of compliance, and we have the uploads, we have the preview, and then payment. Having said this, let's begin with the first stage, which is the company details. If you're registering any company, you are going to have a preview of this particular page where you will have the opportunity to put in all the information required. Having said this, if you are registering a fintech, it is not different. If you are registering a fintech, if you are registering a guarantee, if you are registering a usual company like this one you can see here that is just into food and services, if you are registering this kind of business, what you need to do is to just come here. The name would already be here because it has been approved. Then you put the email of the business. Then after putting the email, you can now click on the principal activities. When you click on the principal activities, you can see here there are different options to register. Any option you cannot find here on the dashboard, it means that you cannot register such business, because whatsoever business that you are venturing into must be within this place. So as you can see here, we want to use fintech as an example. Like I already told us in our previous lecture, there are four basic types of fintech that is very popular now. We know about the MMO, which is the mobile money operator. We know about the PSP, which is the payment service provider, where we still have the payment service terminals like the POS machines and others. We also know about the tech company registered under the Money Lending Act, which gives you the license to give loan and enter into the lending business to anyone in your state alone. We also know about the microfinance bank, where we have the tier 1, tier 2, we also have the state levels and the national levels. For the tier 1, it's talking about the environment where the amount of loan can be covered. For microfinance bank operating tier 1, it means that they are operating within the state but with restrictions. For tier 2, they are operating within a particular rural area with restrictions as to the fact that they can't operate beyond that rural area. So if they're going to be giving loans and all that, it will be restricted to that area for tier 2. Then for state levels, it means that they can operate in any capacity in the state without restriction. Then we talked about the national levels, means that they can operate within the country. Having said that, let's look at what we have here. Like I said also, MMO, that is the mobile money operator, they basically have the responsibility of carrying out financial activities without running the traditional bank system. Like we have OPay, we have PalmPay, we have MoneyPoint, we have Kuda and the likes of it. Now this thing is not even so expensive to register. I'm sure you might have heard concerning registering a bank, that is traditional bank like the commercial bank and all that, that the amount for registering a bank is up to 25 billion, 50 billion and all that for international levels. Meanwhile, I want you to know that if you're going to be registering under the microfinance bank, depending on the scope you want to cover, it goes as low as 50 million share capital, which is very cheap and affordable compared to that of the 25 billion and 50 billion. Now, what about the 20 million share capital, which is for the finance companies that is registered under the Money Lending Act, where you can give loan with the people whom you are into business with within that state. And at the same time, you can also have an app, a loan app with the Money Lending Act if you are registered under FCCPC. Now, having said that, let's look at the practical knowledge. Let's not take much time on this again. So how we can look at these categories. So the first one, if you're registering a business within maybe food and all the catering service restaurant, you can come to this place and you will see the following services. So what I clicked here is accommodation and food services. So under it, you can see other form of services like accommodation, bakery, deal in hot drinks and soft drinks, wine, beverages, hotel, fast food, restaurants, and co. So within this, you can find all this. So we're not going to be registering on that now. If you're going to look for other things, you can just come here and go through other things. Within the administrative and support services, this is where you can find general contracts. You can find things that are very minor but still a business, like car wash services, like blacksmith services, block industry, catering services, cobbler services, cold room services, commission agency. Even when you go down, you begin to see electrical services, you begin to see event management, wholesale. So this is under administrative and support services. Here again, contrast. For those of you that want to venture into multiple businesses, let's say you want to do real estate, you want to go into real estate, you want to go into import and export, and you still want to go into car business, automobile business and all that, you can just quickly come to here and put general contract. Why in your object of memorandum, where you spell out your objectives. Remember, this is a company. As a company, you are free to operate multiple independent objectives, whether you are doing it or not. So with that advantage, it means that if you're registering such multiple objectives, you have to use general contracts because you are into multiple things, multiple activities. Having said that, then you move to the aspect where you can now draft the objective that would suit the object that you have in mind. So the next is the general contract, and just when you go through the whole thing, you would see different services that can be offered within this. Now, if you are looking for an opportunity to see all the services offered within CAC, you can just come to others. So in others, you can have access to everything from A to Z. So this is where you can see everything. So any business you are looking for in CAC that is not captured within this particular place, it means that such business does not exist on the category. You may have to couch your objective in the object of memorandum, as I showed you earlier, to suit the business you want to do. So having said that, let's just take a stroll. So for those that are into e-business, online business and other digital e-learning business, so like Coursera and Co, they have different ways to register this, and I can assure you that it's just 1 million shares to most of these businesses, except for the financial aspect. Here we have financial management consultancy, and keep going down, you see everything to Z. So let me just scroll down. Look at here, we have import and exports for those that strictly want to focus on import and export. So we have even solar installation, CCTV installation, and interior and exterior decoration. A lot of businesses, laboratory sciences, landscaping services, legal services for those that are into legal practice. Then scrolling down, you begin to see multiple objectives. Now look at oil and gas and the likes of it. So having said all this, let me just scroll to the end. Like I said, this is the end. So any business you cannot find within this category here, it means that you may just go to general contract and use general contract, while you can couch such objective that does not exist here to suit your taste in a way you want it in the object of memorandum. Having said that, let's move back to financial activities. So if you want to register a financial institution or a financial company, all you need to do is to come here. Even a fintech, whether you're into lending or you want to go into PSP like Flutterwave, Paystack and Co. That what they do basically is to help website to have a means of payment transmission. So if you want to go into that, like Remitter for the government sector, what you need to do is to come here, you register with the financial and insurance activities. Then here you can now see all that has to do with the financial aspect. So whether you're registering a bank or you're registering a microfinance bank, whatever I'm registering, when you come here, you can see it's an insurance company, you see it here. So financial service activities except insurance and pension funding, this is our goal. Financial consultancy, this is our goal for a finance company that is into lending business, a microfinance bank and all that. So let's quickly look at this again. When you come here, you have to go through it carefully to see if there are activities that you really want. When you go through it, you would know what they have and you know what matches the object that your client has given to you or what you have in mind to register. Let's check this public administration and defense. So it's just public administration and defense that we have there, nothing else. So if you are into probably want to register a defense company, I've registered a defense company before. The requirement is 10 million share capital, and strictly you just click it and you go straight to the point. There are people that are into defense company and they distribute weapons and all these prohibited materials to the government because they have the fund for it. Now I wouldn't go through the professional certificate because those ones basically has to do with all professional courses. Having said that, let's return back to our finance and insurance. So whatever you want to register, if you want to register microfinance bank, you want to register a commercial bank, a merchant bank, a development bank, you want to register a PSP, MMO, you want to register whatsoever, this is where you come. Financial and insurance activity, and you click here. Depending on what you're registering, financial consultancy, financial services. So for banks and co, you go with financial services. So within your description of business, what you need to do here for that of the description of business activity basically is that you have to couch your objective in such a way that would match the object you are going to be using. For instance, now, we don't want to write something that is extremely voluminous here. We don't want to use a lot of words here because it's just a brief description they are looking for. So you can just, if it's let's say you're registering a microfinance bank, or you're registering a mobile money operator, just try to carry on the business of a mobile money operator. Full stop. You don't have to write so much as long as you're able to explain what you want to do. Then if it's a microfinance bank, to carry out the business of a microfinance bank, simple, MFB. So if it's a commercial bank, you just to carry out the business of a commercial bank. That is the brief explanation of what you are doing. So for this particular business which I'm registering currently, using as an example, what we are doing here is just to carry out the business of a restaurant service, catering, food processing and packaging. That is all. Then you come here, you put in the registered address. So you put in the state, local government and the city and town. Once you fill in the necessary information, just follow it, and this is a walkthrough. I mean, we don't have to explain all this. You just put in the necessary instruction, the state, local government. Each local government already exists. For any state you upload, each local government already exists. So you put in the city that is well known within that environment where the street is located. Once you're done with that, you click save and continue, and it take you to the article of association. Now for every company, you must have an article of association. The article of association basically is a working document of the company that provides you with all the relevant rules and regulations that guides the company, and not just guides the company but also guides even the individuals working in the company, probably the directors, the shareholders, even the employees. So the articles of association is very relevant because it guides the operation of the company and also helps with the functions and the roles of every single staff personnel in the company. So when you come here, what you need to do, for those of you that probably you've not done this before, you don't need to start drafting an article. I know you may say this, you're not a lawyer, but you want to register for a company, you want to register your own company yourself, or you want to probably venture into this business before later on. You don't have to come here and start typing the article. No, you don't do that, because when you do that, you are prone to make a lot of errors and you definitely be queried. There'll be so much requirements and up and down from CAC. So it is best that you adopt the article. So you click on adopt. Once you click on adopt here, you will be taken down where the article will appear. So you basically go through it, but it's not really mandatory you go through it, as long as everything is intact. So the reason why we adopt is because we don't want to make any mistake, right? We don't want to put in some things that would lead to query and waste time and money. So once you adopt it, this is from the constitution and it applies to all companies. So adopting it just means that you are okay with everything that has been said, and basically it's what is applicable. You don't need to change it, you don't need to edit it, you just adopt it and you proceed. After that, you put the witness information. That is the lawyers or whoever is in charge of the portal. It can be an accountant, it can be a lawyer, it can be a chartered secretary. So whoever the case may be, you just use the person's details as the witness and you proceed. Having said that, so we'll move to the next page. the object of memorandum. So here now, this is where you couch the objectives. The objectives of the company you are registering. If you are registering a finance company, you must couch your objectives with these CBN standards. So you don't just start writing anything you feel like writing. If you're registering a finance company, whether you're going to lending business, you're going to microfinance business, you're going into commercial bank or whatsoever you're going to be doing, you must state out those objectives with this CBN standard. So before you do that, make sure you already have the CBN standard with you. So let's look at what we can do here quickly. All right, welcome back again. And so we're going to be looking at the objectives. So we want to see what would the objectives look like, right? So when you come here, you begin to see where I already written out the objective that I want to use for a finance company. So whether it's that of the MSB, whether it's a finance company carrying out just lending business, you have to specify it. So for that of the microfinance bank, now we have to carry on the business of providing microfinance banking services, including savings, deposits, loans, microcredits facilities, like the old like could the we have the microfinance running their microfinance bank running their lending services through this app we call Kuda, Okash rather, Okash. So when you know about Okash, Okash is the lending app, and strictly it is operated by a microfinance bank. So this is their microcredit facilities. We also have their financial services. You add all these things as an objective. So the next one, to carry on the business of accepting deposits from individuals, associations, cooperatives, and businesses. Now this is based on CBN guidelines, right? You mustn't draft something outside CBN guideline. Then also we have to carry on the business of a mobile and digital banking, agency banking, electronic money transfer services. So now, because you're a bank, if you are a financial for a finance company that is probably into mobile transfer and other like OP and Co, this objective is paramount. You must include it. Meanwhile, if you are a company that is just into lending business, then you don't have to include to carry on electronic transfer and other, because you are not permitted to do such transactions. You can only give loan. That is for that finance company under the Money Laundering Act. So once you have all these objectives, the next one you can see to carry on the business of providing financial advisory, capacity building, credit related services, and all this. So we also have to carry on the business of operating as an issuing agent, collecting agents for government institutions. That is just like Remita and Flutterwaves and Co. That is under this for PSP. So we also have to carry on the business of acting as an agent of CBN, deposit money banks, and all that. So this is like the general feature for the traditional banks we have. To carry on the business of investment in government securities, CBN, and all that. So this is like for investment banks, like the development banks that we have in Nigeria. So to carry on the business of agency service, correspondent banking, remittance, and all that. So basically, you when you have these objects, you can come here to CAC and you can then begin to put in the objects one after the other the same way. Just come here, you click the objects, you add objects. After writing, you add objects, it will come here. See all the objects listed, directors and secretary. Okay, so once you add the person as shareholder, you can move to the next thing. Like I said, everything you are doing here is just to put the personal information, all this personal information of the director. And after putting the information of director, you put the address of director. The address can be the same thing as residential address. Once you're done with that, you must come here and add the director as shareholder. You have to do that. Once you add director as shareholder, you click add and continue. So when it comes to add and continue, it will give you this automatically. You can now click to the next, and once you click to the next, so here this is what we have here. We have the share capital. Now a lot of us may not know how to pattern this. So we have to go back to this now. Just click, we've done all this already, so we'll just go back to the share capital and see what we can do there. So for the share capital, I'll be showing you how to um do the share capital calculation, and then also how to adjust it and put it properly so you can arrange it within the shareholders. Whether you have 5 shareholders, you have 10 shareholders, you have 15 shareholders, no matter the amount of shareholders you have, you can easily adjust it to be able to do the necessary registration. So having come here, I want to show us quickly. When you're registering a finance company, you have to go through this so you can see the requirements. Whatsoever company you want to register, they have the requirements spelled out. If you're registering a company that has to do with so when you're registering a company, you have to come to this place to see what you're registering. As you can see here, let's quickly go down to the finance company. So when we come here, this is for the banks. For the commercial banks with regional authorization, that is, you can only operate within Southeast, South, and Co. That is 10 billion share capital. Once it's a commercial bank with national authorization, you have to bear in mind that it is 25 billion share capital. So for commercial banks with international authorization, that is 50 billion share capital. If it's a merchant bank, it's just 15 billion share capital, and so on and so forth. So when you come here to the payment solution services, this is the general, when you're registering a PSP and you want to go into POS terminals, you want to still go into super agents, you want to still go into PSP, that is the payment solutions service providers like Flutterwave and Co. You want to do a general service under PSP, the check capital is 250 million. But if you want to do that for the super agents alone, the super agents are those people who they're not creating POS machines. They are not a bank. They don't have a particular, probably they're not a bank like Opay or Co. What they do basically is to reach out to rural areas. They take the POS machines and all these innovative technologies into rural areas and they distribute it there. That is a super agent. So to register a super agent, what you just need to register with is 50 million before you can have permission from Opay and Co to be a distributor of its um technologies. You have to register as a super agent. That is 50 million. While for payment terminal services, that is you want to go into POS, you want to own your own POS machine like we have Opay, Moneypoint and Co. It's 100 million. Then also for the PSP like the Flutterwave, Spacestack and Co, it's 100 million share capital. Now I know you must be wondering why is it that Opay, which is MMO, Opay is MMO, that is mobile money operator, is 2 billion here. Opay has POS machine, even though it's a MMO. Now the CBN allows MMOs to have POS machine even without registering it under the payment terminal services. Why? Because they're already into the financial services, into deposits, money lending, receiving money and sending money and all that. That is what they do already. So they are automatically assigned to have a POS terminal. But if you want to operate, probably you don't want to have a bank app, you don't want to go into certain operations like MMO, you just want a POS terminal, not for, maybe not for deposit, not for sending money and all that, for something different. A POS terminal, as long as it's a POS terminal that has to do with financial activity, no matter the kind of activity, just POS terminal, you are entitled to register under this for 100 million. But if you're not going to be going into that of the keeping money in the account, like in the wallet and wallet creation and all that, you don't need MMO. But if you're going to have wallet creation like Opay wallet and all those things, you must open with mobile money operator. That is the 2 billion share capital. Having said this, you can look at the microfinance bank here. We have the tier 1, like I said, 200 million shares. Tier 2, 50 million. Tier 1 is for the state levels, tier 2 is for the rural levels. Then the state and the FCT, that is Abuja, 1 billion. Then national, that is the whole country, 5 billion. Then you can keep going down. For finance company, which I told you, finance company that should have the ability to enter the business of money lending under the Money Lending Act in all states. You can, whatever state you register in, that is the state you can operate from. So if you are registering within Abuja or Lagos or so, it means that you can operate the finance company within that particular state you are registering. And to register a finance company is 20 million share capital. So having said that, the 20 million share capital means that you have to register it with this cost price. For each share capital, it is what determines the cost. If the share capital is 2 billion, it will be very high. If it is 1 million, it will be very low. If it is 20 million, it will be a bit high because of the share capital. However, once you meet an agent, you'll be able to calculate how much 20 million share capital would be. But I believe in my last class we talked about this and how to calculate it. So you can visit the last lecture for that. Having said this, if you want to register a finance company that is into lending business under the Money Lending Act, you have to go to the magistrate court and apply. Once you apply from CAC and you have your CAC from CAC, your document from CAC, you go to the magistrate court and you apply with all the evidence from CAC. Now, if you also want to have an app under this finance company, an app that is into lending, just lending, an app that just gives loan, nothing else. You don't do deposit, you don't transfer money, you don't receive money, just give loan. That particular app will be registered under finance company, and you have to register the app as well under the FCCPC. So having said that, you look at the other things here, and whatever you want to register is must be within this place. So like the private security company we talked about that I register is 10 million shares, and then this is everything you need to know. For travels and tours, for those of you that want to register companies that are into travels and tour, that is 30 million share capital. For agricultural products and processing and all that, that is 10 million share capital. For um payment service bank, that is 5 billion share capital. We already talked about this, so we don't need to go back to that. Now, if you are into health, I want to register a health maintenance organization at national level, that is 400 million share capital. While if it is at a regional level, that is 200 million share capital. If it is at state level, 100 million share capital. So having said that, I believe we have touched the most important aspect of this registration. So once you come here, now let me show you how you can arrange this. If you're registering a 1 million share capital, you come here and you click on total share capital is 1 million. But before that, you have to click here to determine what you are doing. So having said that, once you come here, you're going to see what you can do. You can click on any of these. Since you already know the share capital you want and what you want to register, you can come here and you click on them. So once you click on it, to give you the share capital. But what we are doing now is 1 million. So if it's 1 million, you come to entity below 5 million shares. So that is where you will get that of 1 million. And you come here, it's already fixed 1 million. So how do you do your share details breakdown? So you come here, you must always use your equity share. So you come here, click on equity share, don't use preferred share. Then you come here, click on just click 1 million. So as you're writing 1 million here, to show you here too. So 1 million. And when you come here, divided into, so it's still 1 million. Divided into 1 million with nominal value of each share by 1 naira. So if you are doing less than that, if you do 100,000, so your share value will be 10 naira. If you do 10,000, your share value will be 100 naira. The share value here determines the amount of share per one share. But if you're doing 1 million, the amount of share per one share will be 1 naira, and that is how it should be actually. So when you come here, you update it. Then once you come here, you come to the shareholder. By that time, you already have your list of shareholders already out. You have to scroll down and click on this part. So let's do this quickly. You come here, you click, you already have the details of the director which you made to be the shareholder at the same time. So you come here on the equity share, click it, you write the amount of shares, 1 million share, and you just leave that. So you must write it. If it is two people sharing 1 million share, then here is going to be 500 allotted to one person, and that 500,000 allotted to another person, and that makes it 1 million. So make your mathematics, do your mathematics, and you'll be able to get the exact number of shares that will be allotted to a particular shareholder. Having said that, that brings us to the end of this part. So you come here, you come to the persons of significant control. So look at here, this last part, you must make it 1. So does the person hold right to appoint or remove majority of the directors? Yes. Does the person otherwise, the PSC otherwise have the right to exercise or is actually exercising significant influence or control? Yes. So make that yes. Then you also have to make this 100% since we assigned it to this person. So you have to make it 100%. So we come here, just put 100. Does the PSC directly hold at least 5% of the shares or in a or interest in a company? Yes, 100%. Does indirectly? No. Does the PSC directly hold at least 5% of voting rights in a company? Yes, 100%. So here, indirect, anywhere it's indirect, no. When you see, does it hold the right to appoint or remove? Yes, I've talked about that already. Come to updates, and then you see it already 100%, 100%. Save and continue. So when you come to save and continue, you're going to put the details of the agent's dashboard you're using just here in the and when you do that, save and continue. So when you save and continue, you upload all the necessary documents, means of identification, signature of the shareholder, signature of the witness, signature of director, and all that. So you click, you continue. So here you now see all the conclusion we have made. You see all your review here, all the review here, the objects, the directors and secretary details, everything will be here. So once you see all this, you confirm your details again. After confirming them, you save and continue, and you proceed to make payments. As you can see, it is loading. Once you come here, if it's 1 million shares, 10,000 naira. Look at what they say: registration of private company with share capital of 1 million or less is 10,000. Once it's more than 1 million, from 2 million 50 million is 50,000 naira. So make sure you know how you charge for that. Having said that, I believe we have come to the end of this session, but I like to let you know this: we'll be uploading some videos on this properly, so you just go through it and you have more knowledge of it. This is just like a practical knowledge. This will help you know how it works on CAC dashboard. It's very easy. Once you take your time to go through this lecture notes, you'll be able to understand all the processes and all the requirements, and you'll be able to advise your client accordingly. Having said that, thank you so much for being part of this class. If you have come to the end of the class successfully, it means that you already have a broad knowledge on how to register a company, and not just that, you have a broad knowledge of how to register fintech and also any other company in Nigeria. Have a wonderful night.